Welcome to my Zoomers to Sound and Yin. My name is Becca. Glad to have you here. And for props, if you want to grab a pillow and a blanket, maybe a couple pillows, a couple blankets, whatever props you have, like a couple blocks would be helpful, but you can just use blankets and pillows instead, okay? So we will get started here momentarily. I'm going to check in with everyone who is here in person. Welcome, welcome, guys. So glad to have you here for the Sound and Yin journey tonight. It's going to be amazing. So my name is Becca, and I'd like to check in with each of you. Say your name, how you're doing, and if you have any special requests for the practice, please let me know, okay? I'm going to keep on you, Rhonda. Start with you.
Okay, Rhonda. Maybe a little lower back.
Lower back?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
Hi, I'm Dahlia. Maybe shoulder and lower back.
Shoulders and lower back, feeling those. Okay. Great.
Hi, Leah. I have some knee problems.
Some knee issues?
Yeah.
Okay. On the left knee?
Yeah, on my left knee.
Okay. Is that recent?
No, it's not. I had my meniscus removed just a long time ago. Like pressure on this.
Okay. Do you do anything on your knees, like hands and knees, or do you stay off of it?
I can do it. I just can't like flex it in some directions.
Okay. So just adjust as needed. You know what your knee does and doesn't. And if you have any questions, just wave me over and I'll put the mask on and come work with you, okay?
Thank you.
All right. So back row next.
Vanessa, lower back.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'm Catherine. Hips, please.
Okay. Hips. All right. Next.
Hi, I'm Brianna. I'd say upper and lower back.
Sounds good. Upper and lower back. All of the back.
Hi, I'm Megan. No particular preference. I'm feeling good.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Hi, Tiffany. My neck and shoulders are pretty tight.
Neck and shoulders tight. Okay. Shoulders. And this is Jennifer's going to come in and join us here in a moment. His first spot. All right, guys. So, anyone brand new to Yin Yoga? It's super easy. You're basically listening to your body. There can be intensity, just like regular yoga. We're not going to stand up. It's all done on the floor. And basically we roll around, lay in this position for a while, and then we're going to lay in this position for a while. We might sit up and do some things, but we're not probably going to actually stand up until class is over. So, okay. And we're in the poses for anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. However, you come out when you need to. That goes for everybody. Okay? We tend to override that need sometimes, especially in life. Like, oh, I really need to stop and eat, but I'm going to push through this next task. Okay, so here, like, I really should get out of that this pose now. Don't override that. Okay. All right, guys. So let's start with an opener for the lower back. At home, if you don't have a bolster, that's okay. You can just use pillows in the same fashion. And I'm kind of turned to the side so you can see me sideways. But you're going to put it behind you on your mat, lengthwise, and have your blocks nearby within hand's reach. And just have that blanket within reach in case you want to place it on the abdomen. You might still be warm from arriving and everything. So for this posture, to get into it, you sit close to the bolster. You're actually touching it and lay down upon it. Lift and lower the hips and reset the spine so that it feels okay for you. And then you can butterfly the legs, bringing the soles of the feet together. Now here's where you might want the blocks
You can position them under the outer thighs. You can kind of get them to balance on their edges there, the outer knees rather. Or you can take the block and place the big face of it against the thigh, and then this long, skinnier face against your calf, and kind of get them to balance on their edge between the folded legs there. Adjust the distance between your heels and your hips. So you might have your knees less bent or more bent. And adjust the arms. Now here's where you may want that blanket to just lay on your lap. Just ground yourself with the weight of the blanket. It's really nice to have that grounding sensation. And I'm going to dim the lights. Actually, just turn them off. I think we have enough light for Zoom. Yeah. Okay, good. So connecting to your breath, start to tune into the sound of your own breath. And begin to tune your instrument, your body, with your breath. Our breath always flowing in and out. Breath always present in the now. Take a moment here to arrive more fully, just setting aside your moments of arriving, travel to arrive here now in this moment, the movement of the day, the weekend, past week. Set aside your to-do list and feel the surfaces supporting you, the surfaces underneath the body. And maybe you can even make a connection with the deeper, wider center of the earth beneath us. Notice how the ground rises up to meet you. Feel supported, grounded, present with the breath and with sensation in the body. Sensation is the language of the body, and our body speaks to us through it. Sometimes during the busyness of life, we need to override its requests. But here we have time and attention to give it what it needs, what it's craving. Take a moment to reflect on your intention for your practice. Focusing on a positive quality. Might be a single word or a phrase that sums up your intention for your practice. And if you're using a statement, like an affirmation, make sure it's in the present tense instead of I will be, I am, I feel, or I have, whatever makes sense there. Repeat it to yourself several times with deep conviction. Start to imagine it as true now. Give your intention your full attention. letting it go. Just resting in gratitude for 5 or 6 more full breaths here. Bringing some small movement into the physical body, wiggling the toes, the fingers. And you may want to bring the hands onto the outer thighs to help fold the knees together. And here you can heel toe the feet wider apart as the soles of feet on the mat. Take your feet wider apart and just let your knees knock together, rest against each other at center. Take a few breaths here, just counterposing that big hip opener. This is excellent for the lower back as well. And then separate the knees, bring the feet about hip socket distance apart. You can press into the feet to lift and lower the hips a few times. And as you're ready, you can roll to one side or the other, coming up off that support, and just move it out to the side. Come back down on your back and just take a moment to reset here. Maybe some movement or stretching, whatever feels good to you. We do a little reset in between each of the main poses. It's important for you to be able to tend to your needs for either movement or stillness. And if I do move around the room with sound instruments, I will mask up for that. A little bit more stretch here. And as you're ready, you'll roll to one side or the other, so you can push yourself up to a seated position. And for this one, you may want to turn to the long edge of your mat. I'll show you the posture. It's a wide-legged forward fold. So if you have sensitive backs of the ankles, so you'd actually be sitting off your mat. So whichever you need padding. You can also sit on your blanket, right? And have some padding under your rear. Get that situated, taking the feet wider apart. And they're going to be coming forward in between the legs there. The bolster is really useful to have as a landing area, either turning it up on its side, or you can build a little platform, a little Stonehenge with your props, the blocks and the bolster on top, and then you have a platform to rest on. Now, as you're moving into the posture, really listen to sensation, okay? So sometimes we go like, okay, I can do this pose, I can go, I know I can go right here. But I miss a lot of layers of sensation if I go right to my maximum forward fold. And so as you're folding forward, kind of feel into the stretch, like, okay, there's the first layer of stretch or sensation I feel in the inner thighs, and sit with that for a few breaths. And then maybe you start to lower down and go to that next layer. And if at any time you start to have feelings of concern for yourself or need to come out of the pose, you'll do so. We also have extra blankets, bolsters, things like that. So if you need any extra padding underneath the heels, just wave me over. I'll go grab that for you. And be particular about getting set up. Take your time with it so everything is just right for you. We'll be here for several minutes. Should you need to come out sooner, you can just rest on your back and do a little stretching there. Use your breath to move energy if you feel some tightness. Tightness and tension is just stuck energy. Breath in Sanskrit, prana means energy. Imagine sending your breath to areas that are holding tension or feeling tight. We also start to experience a deep ache sometimes in some of these postures as the connective tissues are stretching. So you'll know if it's too much, if you need to come out of the posture, you'll do so. About 3 more full breaths here. Following those breath cycles, slowly start to bring yourself up out of the forward fold. And I actually like to use my hands to help move the legs, bend the knees and move the feet closer together. And then just lay down on your back. You can turn to the side again. So you're going to put it on your mat. Lay down on your back. Notice what you notice. Knees can be bent, or you can extend the legs or do a little stretching here and breathe. Sometimes we have really interesting sensations, responses between the poses as well. If the legs are straight, bending the knees, bringing the soles of the feet onto the mat. And from here, you can roll to one side or the other. Push yourself up to a seated position. And for this posture, sitting on the blanket or maybe even the bolster can be helpful. Do I need to turn on the lights? Is it kind of dark in my area? Okay. All right. So for this is called shoelace pose, and it's great opener for the hips. So the shoelace is crossing one leg over the other with knees bent. For me, this is already a lot going on sensation-wise. Okay, so what I like to do, and I'm gonna put my back towards you so you can see this, is I'll sit on the corner edge of the bolster. Okay, so have a corner edge pointing forward, and then it makes kind of space for your legs or feet on either side of it. Okay. Raising the hips are tight, raising the hips up can be really helpful. So you can pick whichever leg you want to have on top. And another option is just to do cross the one leg over the top and have your other leg straight. Okay, so if it's already a lot of sensation, you're not sure about being there for several minutes, you can straighten out that bottom leg. Then you have the option to come forward over your laced shoelaces there. Okay, and since if you might be sitting on the bolster, so you can use the hands to support you as you come forward. But remember, like, interfacing with those layers of sensation. So working to notice those layers and just being with a layer or a level of sensation before you fold forward more. Okay. And if something isn't feeling quite right, just wave me over at any time. I can come work with you. Do a couple minutes on this side. Oh, sorry about that. your breathing. Notice which leg is on top. Remember which side you did. Probably won't be able to remember sensation-wise, right? And then you're gonna lay down on your back. So slowly come out of the form, lay down on your back, take a moment to reset, stretch and breathe and move and just experience the release. It might feel like a great relief. Maybe do a little gentle twisting where the knees rock side to side. Use your breath to help move stuck energy, recirculating and integrating. And as you're ready, you can roll to one side or the other. You can come to a seated position, and we'll set up on your second side. So either sitting on a blanket, bolster, or just the mat is fine as well. But if the hips are tight, it does help to raise the hips up, or you can use a block if you want a firmer surface. I didn't mention that on the first side. So again, lacing the shoelaces, and allow this side to be its own side. It doesn't have to look exactly like the first side, like the placement of the feet, the bend of the knees and everything. So feel your way into it. And as you come forward over the legs, again, looking for those layers of sensation, pausing and breathing when you feel some resistance or some tension or some need to just be with that level of stretch before you start to go deeper perhaps. And I've also been in these poses and realized I'm too far forward. I need to back out of it, okay? So it can go the other way too. So really respond to what you're feeling. Use your breath. Use your breath to move that energy, that stuck energy. Imagine you could send your breath to that place that's feeling tight or tense. Allow the sound waves to help move energy as well. Healing benefits of sound are well documented. few more full breaths here. Following those breath cycles, slowly make your way onto your back. Take your time. Help move the legs with the hands. You're deeply stretching that connective tissue, which can really help release some of our recurring muscular issues. We're going deeper here, getting to the root cause of some of the muscular tension that tends to reoccur. When we reset the connective tissues like this, it's really helpful. Give yourself a thank you for showing up for this practice tonight for yourself. Taking this time to reset and recharge and heal, unite, whole, body, mind, and spirit. Bringing the soles of the feet onto the mat. As you're ready, you can roll to one side or the other, so you can push yourself up to a seated position. You can situate some props for your next yin pose. So this time the bolster it's going to go behind you again, but crossways on your mat. And you're going to drape your spine over the bolster and spread the arms out. If you've got neck tension going on, then you can place the blanket, maybe even fold it up more than you think you need as a landing pad, and then you can always adjust that there. So you can start with it there. And then, so the top edge of the bolster is, my armpit is just at the top edge of the bolster, a little bit above that, kind of inch above it. If the bolster is too low on or too high on your back, then your arms will be kind of suspended out in the air and you won't be able to get your forearms onto the ground. So have it in a good place on your back so the backs of the shoulders, they may not touch the ground, that's okay, but certainly the hands, the backs of the hands, the forearms, elbows, a little bit of the upper arm might be in contact. And then you might test out either lowering the height of the blanket or sliding it out from under the back of the head. Just see how that feels for you. And then another adjustment you can make is choosing a specific placement for your legs. You can stay with the knees bent, soles of the feet on the mat. You could butterfly the legs like we did in that opening pose where you bring the soles of the feet together. Or you can stretch the legs out long. So stretch them out. That'll add a little more traction to your spine sometimes. And then see what muscles are engaged, what muscles might let go, 5 or 10%. Sometimes squeezing the muscle or engaging it, taking a breath in, and then on that exhale, just relaxing. Know that this is a safe place to relax, let go, and just be. Gradually begin to deepen your breathing. We'll begin to release the posture with the lower body first. And you'll bring the soles of the feet onto the mat. You want to mindfully come off of the support, maybe supporting the head with one hand, roll to the side, remove it, scoot it up to the side, come back down on your back without it there. And notice what you notice. Notice the reset. And respond with movement or stillness. And breathe. And as you're ready, you can bend the knees if the legs are straight. So you bring the soles of the feet onto the mat. From there, rolling to one side or the other so you can push yourself up to a seated position. Let me show you our next yin pose called supported bridge. So you're either going to use your bolster, squishier, softer, or a block on the lowest height setting under the backs of your hips. And I like to get into the pose laying down and then placing the object underneath me. Or you can sit on the edge of the bolster. I'll demo on the bolster here. Sit on right on the edge, like you're about to fall off. And then walk the hands back, lift and lower the hips. You get situated. So what we're going to do here is elevate the legs for about 1 minute. And then you'll have the option to stretch out maybe both legs together. This is going to open the quads and the hip flexors that can make that low back hurt. Or if it's starting to feel like too much sensation, then you'll just do one leg at a time for about 8 or 10 breaths before you change sides. Okay. So bolster is squishier. Some people like that softer sensation, or you can use the block under the back of the hips And that's going to give some pressure to the joints on the back of the pelvis and a little bit more pressure to the nerve plexus there on the sacrum, the sacral nerve plexus, that triangular bone on the back of the pelvis and its nerve bundle that relates to our relaxation response. And feel free to do a little bit with the block, a little bit with the bolster, but as you're ready, once you're situated on your support, then start to hover the legs over the hips and lift the feet any amount. Knees can stay quite bent if you want, so pretty relaxed about it, or you can straighten the legs a bit. Reversing the flow of the body here. Allow anything that no longer serves you to drain out. Releasing it with love. It's right through the floor, right into the earth, and it's recycled beautifully. Earth happily receives or compost. Bending the knees more and more. Release one foot at a time down to the ground. And you have the option, you don't have to extend one or both legs and stretch them out with the heels, backs of the heels resting on the mat like I showed you. You can stay with the knees bent instead, soles of the feet on the mat. So you always have options. Do what's right for you. Follow the flow of your breath. Adjust the positioning of the head and the arms. You've got some release. You might feel some stretch in the upper back, neck, and shoulders. Practice is wonderful for noticing how we meet resistance. Beginning to deepen your breathing here. And mindfully start to bring the soles of the feet onto the mat, one leg at a time. You might want to draw one knee up over your hips just to stretch the low back, or maybe both together if that's okay for you, one at a time or both together. Maybe take the knee a little wider from the torso, just kind of circling the leg a little bit, one at a time, or you can do both together, just drawing circles with the knees, massaging that low back a little bit. Then as you're ready, release one foot at a time down to the ground. You can either roll to the side to come off the support, or press into the feet, lift your hips, push or pull it out from underneath you. So coming onto your back and responding to what you're feeling there, stretching and moving, or just being still, witnessing the reset as you breathe. So the next posture we're moving towards is final relaxation pose. You can choose whatever comfortable position you would like, and place the bolster under the backs of the thighs so the knees are a little bent, or pillow at home. And if you're cooling off, you can cover yourself with a blanket, or maybe you just were loving that opening posture of resting butterfly and you want to return to that. Okay, so if that's the case, you can place that bolster behind you and recline onto it, opening the hips here, adding whatever supports will serve you in resting and receiving all the benefits of your practice during this final section. I'll play the gong for you. You've had a little taste of what it sounds like, the tones of it. And just notice the volume increases. Maybe you feel some release, or maybe you feel resistance coming up, and just notice whatever you notice. It's all good. It's all perfect. It's all here to guide you back home to the truth of who you are. The truth of who you are, which is love. Beginning with your breath. Gradually start to deepen your breathing. Notice how you feel. Wiggling the toes and the fingers. Allowing those small movements to grow into larger stretches. Stretching the feet and the hands a bit, the wrists, the ankles. Drawing that movement up the limbs. Whatever way feels good and makes sense. So deepen your breath. Notice what would feel good to do in the moment. Stretch and move here as you breathe more deeply. Releasing the lower jaw. Swallowing a few times. Yawning, taking a yawn, or actually yawning. As you're ready, you'll roll to one side or the other, maybe just resting on your side for a breath or so before you come to a comfortable seat. Keep your gaze internal as you move slowly, mindfully. Keep the eyes closed if you can. If you need to peek, that's fine. Nice internal gaze. You really keep that inner connection established. We'll seal in the benefits of the practice, uniting the palms of the hands together to the center of the chest. Take a moment to connect with your intention for your practice. It may be the same one you started with, or a different wish or heartfelt desire for yourself, others, the world. And enjoy a moment of gratitude. Thank your very own body, mind, breath, and spirit. Namaste.
Namaste.